Which one's better, the USS General R. Ford or the HMS Queen Elizabeth? I know I've got a favorite. I'm probably going to get humbled in this video. This is by the Navy channel. I will leave a link down below to the OG video. Make sure you go over there, give it some love. Really, really important that you do that. I love watching these types of videos. I'm gonna probably be humbled, but I've got a lot to say about this stuff. Listen, I'm British, right? I'm British. I live in the UK. I live in England, all right? But I'm also an American citizen, so I have skin in the game in both. That being said, I was in the Royal Marines Commandos, as you can see from this picture back here. There's little old me a long time ago, pre-kids, when I was full of sleep and youth. And so I do have a bias. Of course I have a bias. My dad was in the Royal Navy. Took an explosion in the Falklands War. I was in the Royal Marines, which are part of the Royal Navy. Of course I'm going to have a bias. But this is going to be fun to watch. Before we get started, though, quick word from our sponsor. And today's sponsor is Fume. Fume is a flavored air device designed to help people quit vaping and smoking by breaking that hand-to-mouth pattern. It's simple, natural, and honestly quite genius. No nicotine, no batteries, no vapor, just a weighted, twisty, fidget-friendly tool that gives your hands something better to reach for when your cravings show up. I mean, listen to this. That is really nice for my simple brain. Cravings aren't just about nicotine. They're about breaking habit, that hand-to-mouth motion, that oral fixation. When that loop is broken, cravings spike. Fume replaces your habits with a flavored air fidget device that gives your hands and mouth something to do, distracting cravings without nicotine, vapor, or batteries. Don't just try to quit. Upgrade the habit loop. Reach for Fume instead. If you're ready to break the habit, now's a great time to try Fume. Right now, when you grab a journey pack, you'll get a free Fume topper just for using my code OriginalHuman. The Fume topper adds a soft, replaceable, chewable mouthpiece, giving your mouth something safe to chew while cravings hit. Grab this offer while it's available. Go to tryfume.com. That's TRYFUM.com and use code word OriginalHuman to get your topper for on top of your Fume. Or you can simply scan the QR code that's floating around on screen right now. Thank you, Fume, for sponsoring this video and this channel. I really believe in this product, and I really do think that you're doing the good work by helping people break them bad habits. All right, let's make me head small. Let's get into this, shall we?
When discussing the modern behemoths of naval engineering,
Behemoths.
few ships capture as much global attention as the USS Gerald R. Ford
Oh, it's
of the
Gerald.
US Navy.
Did I say General? General? I don't know what I said. Fast forward it. What did I say? Did I say Gerald? I don't know.
And the HMS Queen Elizabeth of the Royal Navy.
Yeah.
Each represents the pinnacle of their respective nation's naval capabilities. And
Okay. I want you to know that because I was in the Royal Marines, I'm allowed to take the mickey out of the US Navy. Okay? I'm allowed to do that because I was part of the Royal Marine Commandos. It's just like I'm allowed to take the piss out of the US Army. I'm allowed to do that. Just like the US Army and the US Marines and the US Navy are allowed to take the piss out of the Royal Navy. We're allowed to do that. Listen, if you weren't part of one of these peoples, if you haven't got skin in the game, you can't tell me if I can't take the piss out of the US Navy. It's what we're supposed to do. It's what we're supposed to. If I go to the pub, if I was on ship, like I was, in the Gulf Coast, and we stop off in Bahrain, like we did, and I go to a local bar, right, on the US base, and some US Navy lad is giving it all that, listen, you think I'm going to sit back and just take it? No. That's not what we do. And I hope, if there's any former US Navy lads watching this, or any US military lads in general, all lasses, I hope to God, if you came to the UK, that you challenged us and you took the piss out of us as well, because it's what we do. It's what siblings do.
Symbolizes power projection on the world stage.
They do.
Yet, with technological advancements and unique strategic philosophies embedded in their design, the question remains, which carrier is better? This comprehensive analysis will dive into the key details, comparing their specifications, power, weaponry, cost, and overall capabilities, with a particular emphasis on the USS Gerald R. Ford, which often stands out due to its state-of-the-art innovations.
Why does the US aircraft carrier now have 2 bridges? I wonder why that's the case. I'm presuming one is navigation and one is for maybe like some sort of flight control. Maybe that's what I'm just presuming. Also, have you heard about? I did a video on this a while back. It might have been a year or 2 ago now. The UK isn't necessarily putting a bunch of money into new aircraft carriers. They're doing these new drone aircraft carriers. Have you seen them? Basically like a smaller version of an aircraft carrier specifically just for drones. Very interesting concept, and I actually quite like it.
The USS Gerald R. Ford is the lead ship of a new class of U.S. Navy supercarriers. Named after the 38th President of the United States, it was commissioned in 2017 and marked a significant leap in carrier technology. The Gerald R. Ford class is intended to replace the aging Nimitz-class carriers, which have served as the backbone of U.S. naval power for decades.
Yeah.
The Ford's construction incorporated years of research and development aimed at making it the most formidable and technologically advanced carrier ever built. On the other side, the HMS Queen Elizabeth represents a new era for the Royal Navy. Launched in 2014 and commissioned in 2017, it is one of 2 ships in its class, along with its sister ship, the HMS Prince of Wales.
Yeah.
The Queen Elizabeth
class. I want to Google something about the HMS Queen Elizabeth real quick. I want to know the capacity, although it might go into this. 1 second. Also, did I say that the General R. Ford had 2 bridges? I meant the HMS Queen Elizabeth having 2 bridges, because I don't actually know why they have that. Because the General R. Ford doesn't have 2 bridges. It only has the one. What was I looking at? In fact, I'm going to let the video go because I think it's probably going to talk about capacity, isn't it, in this video?
Designed as part of the UK's
I was going to Google it.
To maintain a strong, versatile naval presence and support joint military operations with allied forces. The ship reflects British ingenuity and showcases a blend of traditional design and modern technology. Yeah,
I do think HMS Queen Elizabeth having 2 bridges. One of them's got to be just a general bridge, kind of like what you see on most vessels. Surely the other bridge has got to be some sort of recon or like aircraft tower, like to kind of communicate between the aircraft. But then why not just make one big one? Why not make just one big bridge where they have both the radars for all the air systems, and then I don't. Let me Google it real quick. Let me Google why does it have 2 bridges. Surely it will say. In fact, I'm going to use GPT. Why does HMS Queen Elizabeth have 2 bridges? Let's see what ChatGPT's got to say. 2 parallel bridges because of how it evolved over time. It's not just one structure, but a historic bridge. And it's like and it's not. Oh my god, it's not done it. ChatGPT. Everyone thinks that AI is going to take over the world, but it can't do simple things, can it? Come on. Okay, now it's working. Has 2 separate island bridges because it splits crucial functions between them. This is deliberate modern carrier design choice. The forward island controls the ship itself, navigation, steering, command, and the aft island controls flight operations. So yeah, I was right. Air traffic control. I was right. Why split them? Better visibility. The forward bridge focuses on sailing the ship, whereas the aft is clear view of the flight deck for aircraft operations, reduces interference. Aircraft carriers rely heavily on radar and communications. Separating the islands reduces electromagnetic interference between systems. Interesting. Then how does the US get away with this then in the General R. Ford? Improved airflow over the deck. A single large island disrupts airflow. 2 smaller ones helps create smoother air for aircrafts like the F-35B Lightning II during takeoff and landing. Redundancy and survivability. If one island is damaged, the other can still function. I don't feel like that's really necessary. So yeah, if that's the case, then why is something that is obviously way more high tech, which is the US aircraft carrier, I'm going to be obvious here, that the US aircraft carrier is far superior in technology. Why only have one bridge on that? And why not two? I'd love, if someone knows about that, I'd love to know.
The cost of the USS Gerald R. Ford
Also, it's
stands
not a
at
big
an
bridge, is it?
estimated $13 billion, excluding the significant investment.
I mean, 30 million. Yeah, the bridge on the General R. Ford, it's not big either, is it? That's what makes me confused. It's a massive ship. It's a floating city, innit? Look at the size of it. It does make you wonder if someone saw that 100 years ago, they'd be like, my God, look at the size of that. But the bridge is pretty small, isn't it? With all that being said, it's a pretty small bridge, and so how did they get away with that?
In research and development that was necessary to bring this groundbreaking project to fruition. This colossal sum underscores the complex nature of the ship's design,
Maybe it's all just
which
cameras.
includes a host of new technologies, from the electromagnetic aircraft launch system, emails, to advanced radar systems and dual-band radar capabilities.
I wonder if, unlike the HMS Queen Elizabeth, where they have the flight control bridge, I wonder if with this one, they've specifically just done a bunch of cameras and radars looking at the deck, and all the main kind of components to the flight systems are within the ship, protected. That would probably be my best guess.
In contrast, the HMS Queen Elizabeth was built at a significantly lower cost of approximately £3 billion,
That's
around $4
significantly
billion
lower.
USD. This disparity highlights the different budgetary approaches between the US and the UK.
Yeah.
While the Gerald R. Ford emphasizes cutting-edge, often untested technology that pushes boundaries, the Queen Elizabeth adopts a more balanced, cost-effective strategy. This choice
I mean, that's also because of the US budget with the US military industrial complex compared to the British budget for the military. It's not even competitive between the two, is it? Let's be honest.
allows for powerful capabilities without the associated financial burden of highly experimental systems. The USS Gerald R. Ford spans approximately
massive.
1,106 feet in length and has a full load displacement exceeding 100,000 tons.
Wow.
This makes it one of the largest ships ever constructed and gives it the operational flexibility required for long-term, high-tempo missions.
Massive. It does make me wonder. I'm saying one small bridge, but it's still a significantly large bridge. And it does make me wonder, because of the size of the ship, is it making it look smaller? And if you put that bridge next to the bridges of the HMS Queen Elizabeth's, it's probably significantly bigger, isn't it? It's just that the ships are different size, so it's making it look smaller.
The Gerald R. Ford is built with a higher, more expansive flight deck that enables efficient aircraft operations. The ship's deck configuration is optimized to increase sortie rates, aiming for a 33% improvement over its predecessor, the Nimitz class.
I mean, the Nimitz class
The
is
HMS
still
Queen
really
Elizabeth, while impressive in its own right, measures around 920 feet in length and has a displacement of approximately 65,000 tons.
good. Still massive.
Though smaller than the Gerald R. Ford, it is still among the largest ships in the Royal Navy's history.
Yeah, it's massive.
Its ski jump ramp is one of its defining features, facilitating short takeoff and vertical landing operations for it.
I'm sad I never got to go on it. I was on a ship called HMS Echo. I never got to go on Queen Elizabeth, and that makes me quite sad. I would have liked to have done that, to be honest with you.
F-35B fighter jets. While it doesn't match the deck size of the USS Gerald R. Ford, the HMS Queen Elizabeth's design focuses on multi-role capability and interoperability with NATO allies. One of the defining aspects of the USS Gerald R. Ford is its nuclear propulsion system,
Massive.
powered by two A-1B reactors. These reactors provide nearly 3 times more power than those in the Nimitz class.
Do we know who manufactures them? I know Rolls-Royce, which is a British company, actually does a lot of nuclear-powered, like relatively small nuclear energy sources, you could call it. Is that what you call it? Because I was watching a video on it the other day. Yeah, I know Rolls-Royce make little nuclear power things like that. I wonder if they're used. In fact, let's Google it. Who makes the nuclear reactor for the USS Gerald Ford. Let's have a look. BWX. BWX team manufactures the A-1B nuclear reactors, which powers the entire Ford-class carrier. Okay, what's the difference between these and the Rolls-Royce and ones? Let's see what it says. It gets into core difference between the UK. Oh, so the UK carrier is done. Yeah, so the UK carrier actually uses a Rolls-Royce one. I didn't know that. Oh no, it's gas turbines though. But they use Rolls-Royce. Interesting. But I know Rolls-Royce are also invested in nuclear reactors as well. I'm almost certain that's the case. And so that does make me wonder. Firstly, the US didn't go for that. Maybe because it's a British company. Maybe they wanted to keep it in-house and use BWX technologies. But it does make me wonder if the UK decided to make a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. I wonder if they'd go for the Rolls-Royce one. That would be very, very interesting, wouldn't it?
Enabling the ship to operate at speeds exceeding 30 knots, around 35 miles per hour. This high speed is crucial for rapid global deployment and evasive maneuvers in potential combat scenarios. Additionally, the Ford's reactors can power future advanced weapons systems, such as directed energy weapons and railguns, positioning it to remain relevant for decades.
Yeah.
The HMS Queen Elizabeth employs a different approach with its integrated full electric propulsion system, driven by 2 Rolls-Royce MT-30 gas turbines and 4
I should have just waited, shouldn't I?
diesel generators. This hybrid propulsion system allows the carrier to reach a top speed of around 25 knots,
That we know
29
of.
miles per hour.
These speeds would be classified, they're actual true speeds, by the way, both the US and the UK one. So this is probably like estimates.
While this speed is lower than that of the Gerald R. Ford, the integrated full electric propulsion system is reliable and efficient for the strategic purposes of the Royal Navy, which often emphasizes joint operations and extended deployments. The flight deck of the USS Gerald R. Ford
massive,
is a
isn't it?
marvel of modern engineering, designed to handle a larger air wing than previous U.S. carriers. It can typically carry up to 75 aircraft, including a mix of FA-18EF Super Hornets,
Beasts.
EA-18G Growlers, E-2D Hawkeyes, and the cutting-edge F-35C Joint Strike Fighters. This allows the Gerald R. Ford to maintain air superiority, conduct electronic warfare, and perform early warning and reconnaissance missions. The email system enhances the efficiency of aircraft launches, reducing the physical strain on airframes and providing quicker turnarounds. The HMS Queen Elizabeth, with its focus on the F-35B variant, supports around 40 to 50 aircraft.
It's still a significant amount of aircraft. 40 to 50 aircraft? Good God.
Including helicopters for anti-submarine warfare and troop transport.
It's a mental amount of numbers, isn't it?
The F-35B's short takeoff and vertical landing capability
Mental amount of aircraft,
is
sorry, not
perfectly
numbers.
suited to the Queen Elizabeth ski jump deck, enabling quick launches and landings in a variety of operational environments. While the Queen Elizabeth may not carry as many aircraft as the Gerald R. Ford, it remains a versatile platform capable of projecting air power and supporting amphibious assaults and humanitarian missions. The USS Gerald R. Ford boasts an array of defensive weapons and systems to protect against aerial, surface, and subsurface threats.
I wonder if it'll talk about the fact that these aircraft carriers don't go alone. They have subs following them. They have a whole fleet of ships following them that yes, the aircraft carriers themselves have defensive weapons on them, but for the most part, that's like a last resort. Like, let's be honest, like if it gets to that point, you know, it's kind of dangerous considering the fleet that a lot of these aircraft carriers have with them.
These include the RIM 162 Evolved Sea Sparrow missile for close-in air defense, the RIM 116 Rolling Airframe missile system, and the Phalanx Close-in Weapon System for last resort anti-missile defense.
Yeah.
Additionally, the Ford features an advanced radar system that improves threat detection and target acquisition, providing a robust shield against modern threats. The HMS Queen Elizabeth is equipped with a defensive arsenal that includes Phalanx Close-in Weapon System and 30mm automated small caliber guns.
Oh, them things.
While
Them
it
things are
lacks the
brutal, aren't they? Have you seen that video where a random civilian aircraft's going across and it just starts tracking it? They're terrifying, aren't they?
Defensive missile systems found on the USS Gerald R. Ford. The Queen Elizabeth is designed with a layered approach to defense, integrating its armaments with escorting ships and allied support for comprehensive protection. One of the most striking innovations aboard the USS Gerald R. Ford is the use of emails, which replaces the traditional steam-powered catapults. This system is lighter, more reliable, and capable of launching a wider range of aircraft types.
We actually watched a video on that a while back and how innovative it actually is. Like it's mind-blowing how advanced this bit of technology is.
The Ford also features the advanced arresting gear, which enhances the safety and efficiency of aircraft recovery. These technologies collectively enable faster and more flexible flight operations. In contrast, the HMS Queen Elizabeth focuses on proven technologies that maximize reliability. It doesn't have catapults or arresting gear, as its air wing primarily consists of short takeoff and vertical landing aircraft. This simplifies flight operations and reduces maintenance needs.
I am a big fan of that. I think that although having this insane technology like the US has is really, really cool and innovative, I think sometimes in the military, as someone who always thinks that the Bobby Basics is fundamentally the most important thing you can do, knowing reliability will always, in my opinion, outweigh fancy Gucci gear. It's like when we were talking about when we talk about like new weapon systems that the military is getting, like the new that sight that a lot of US weapons are getting. So cool. But my first question, because it can predict distance and configure everything perfectly, so you don't have to do anything. You just have to put the dot on the marker. Amazing. But my first question, and a lot of people who were watching this, a lot of US lads were watching this as well, was saying the first thing that came to their head was the same as me: is what happens if it runs out of battery? Can it still be used as a Bobby Basic scope? And that's the same thing I have with this stuff. Obviously, a lot of smarter people involved in this type of stuff than me, and so I'm sure if the propulsion system that the USS aircraft carrier has fails, I'm sure there's alternatives. But the idea of always sticking to reliable equipment is something that I can always quite appreciate, and I think if you're a boots on the ground soldier, you can probably agree with me with that.
Which can be advantageous during extended deployments. The Queen Elizabeth's design philosophy emphasizes a balance between innovation and operational reliability, aligning with the Royal Navy's global commitments. While the HMS Queen Elizabeth is an impressive testament to British naval engineering and plays a critical role in coalition operations, the USS Gerald R. Ford represents a leap forward in carrier technology. With superior power generation, advanced launch and recovery systems, a larger air wing capacity, and a robust array of defensive weapons, the Gerald R. Ford stands out as the more formidable warship.
It's not only that, it costs about 3 times as much as the HMS Queen Elizabeth as well, doesn't it?
However, each carrier fulfills its strategic role effectively, with the Gerald R. Ford showcasing unmatched innovation and the Queen Elizabeth exemplifying versatility and joint force capabilities. In the end, choosing which is better depends on the perspective and the strategic needs of their respective navies.
The other thing as well is, luckily, we don't have to choose who's best, because the US and the UK, although it's kind of rocky right now with everything going on in Iran, we are allies, ultimately. And we'll always look after each other, which is really nice, isn't it, really?
The USS Gerald R. Ford undoubtedly sets a new standard in carrier design and capability, positioning the US Navy to maintain air and sea superiority for decades to come. What do you think? Is the USS Gerald R. Ford better? Or
Yeah,
does the
it
HMS
is.
Queen Elizabeth take the edge?
It is better, but let's be honest, it's because it costs like $13 trillion. Great video by the Navy channel. I really like that. When I watch these videos, part of me always, because I'm like a visual person, I want like a list on one side and a list on the other of the specs of each thing so we can go through and compare them all. That's just like my visual, like how my brain visualizes things. But absolutely fantastic video. I'll leave a link down below to the original video. What do you think? Do you think paying that amount of money is worth it? Or would you, let's say if you're from the US, would have rather had 3 versions of something like the HMS Queen Elizabeth rather than one massive bit of kit? Which would you have preferred to have? Because honestly, I think there's pros and cons to both, to be honest with you. I do think that Queen Elizabeth, the HMS Queen Elizabeth definitely has a lot of flaws that it didn't talk about in that video. But we're seeing innovative stuff coming out of the UK as well. Like I said, with this new... Let me see if I can find it. It's like some sort of new UK drone aircraft carrier. Let's see if there's any new news about it. It's very fascinating. Yeah, apparently this is a new article that's just popped up about it. The UK carrier drone plan moves on without catapults. The Ministry of Defence has confirmed the Royal Navy programme Project Vision and Project Ark Royal are no longer in use, with both efforts now absorbed into the broader maritime aviation transformation strategy. In written answers published 11th of February, Defence... So is it not happening anymore? Interesting. So maybe it's not happening anymore. Royal Navy aims for jet-powered carrier launch drone at sea within 2 years. So yeah, it is still a thing. Apparently it's scaled back. We'll do a whole video on that actually, and we'll look into it. And I'd love to know your thoughts. Is it worth having smaller aircraft carriers specifically for drones now that drones are becoming more of a thing? That's another question in itself that we'll follow. But yeah, I'll leave a link down below to the original video. Thank you to Fume for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate you guys and the incredible work you're doing over there. Until next time, I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.